Okay, and I drank 6 of those, and I was feeling, I was about 3 sheets,
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know what? The wives are out. We're still drinking. I started drinking this Bud Light. I'm like, it tastes like water,
Yeah.
Like, this is horrible. This is horrible. Who can drink this stuff? But, to each their own. I mean, you and I are, obviously, we're talking about palates of taste, it's amazing how big craft beer is now. It really is.
Oh,
I mean, it's like, I was amazed from when I left Ohio a few years ago and came back to Ohio. There's a store down by my house here. Now they got a whole section dedicated to craft beer, and, I don't know if they do it up there, but you can pick your 6, and you mix and match your 6 here, and I'm like, wow, this is the best thing that could ever happen. This is awesome, It's great. I mean, I'm glad, as a beer, I wouldn't call myself a professional by any means, but it's, I want quality. I want quality over quantity. Back in the end, when I was younger, quantity. No, I want quality.
Quality, right, exactly. I, like I said, I was fortunate to start off on quality, so I never really I went with quantity sometimes, right? But I was drinking quality beer, right? So,
it is possible to do both.
Right, exactly. You can't sit there and listen to a 4-piece Irish band play Dirty Old Town, all right, and not drink 2 beers to it. You just can't, all right? It's a mandatory minimum, right? But
right.
Yeah. But no, I agree. I like sitting down and enjoying something that's good, and even being in quality brews and looking at microbrews and craft brews, that kind of branched out. There's a brew pub up here in Vermont called Zero Gravity. They make a gruit, which is kind of like beer, but it's kind of like wine as well. And they only make it on the solstices, so it's there for like a week. But it is absolutely stunningly delicious. And I would highly recommend, if there's anybody around that's listening, if you can find somebody who makes a gruit because you want it fresh, try it. You'll like it. It's very good stuff.
Awesome. Now, I don't know. Now I've gotten into home brewing. Okay, I started doing the Mr. Beer not long ago, and I made this batch. I got the starter batch and everything. This stuff was horrible, because it was a light beer, But so I gave it out to all my friends. They love it, Like, oh, this stuff's actually not bad, But I don't know. Have you gotten to that yourself? Have you tried doing any home brewing yourself, or?
Yeah. Well, there used to be a place here, just about a half hour away, that was a space where you could go and home brew. They had all the equipment there. They had steam kettles to brew. They had dozens of different hops, barleys, malts, books and books of recipes. So you basically brew it there on site. They put it in, special, carboys for aging. Stick it back there. You'd come back in 2 weeks, use their CO2 bottling system, and you'd walk out for $120 with 10 cases of bombers, right? So, or 22-ounce bottles.
Right. Yeah.
And that was phenomenal. And I did that 3 or 4 times, which was great. And you had tons of good home brew, and it's a good way to learn about it. And in the interim, I haven't done it at home. Sitting there, putting a big kettle up there, and steeping the mash and all that other stuff. But that said, there's a small. I own a piece of the property I own on. I've always wanted to subdivide it, sell it off. But the town is kind of like, we don't know if we want to change the zoning laws or whatever. But that piece of property, I can put something on it. All right. And I've been thinking maybe a craft brewery, a microbrew down on the end of that corner of property might actually be something I might get into, and something I begin to explore a little bit, seeing that, maybe I'll turn that into a productive income-making opportunity down there, and we'll see. Maybe in a couple of years I'll be heavily into the home brewing type of situation.
Yeah, too bad you couldn't use the name root beer,
Yeah, exactly. Right. Root beer, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Buzz beer or whatever.
Like root, right. It doesn't taste like root beer. Right? Come on, what are you drinking? Did you get my 8-year-old?
Have a root beer.
Right. Have a root beer. Right, exactly, yeah. I'm sure Liquor Control would have a problem with that name.
Oh, they love you,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we got about 6 minutes left in the program. again, if anyone wants to try to call in here, 347-989-8810. We're talking with Charles Root, Scotty from Star Trek Phase 2. Going back into that, there's a lot of new stuff coming up. I know you guys had a delay with the Holiest Thing coming out. Any updates you can give on that?
Yeah. Let me tell you where we are on that. And there's nothing nefarious going on. Everybody's kind of like, where's the damn episode, right? And you're like,
right, yeah.
Like. So here's what happened with the Holiest Thing. We ran it one night, and the writer had shown it at a local movie theater, and when you saw it up on this big screen, there were some issues. All right, we had filmed part of it in a gym, and it sounded like it was in a gym, and there was some color correction that when one scene switched to the other, it looked like you had put it on a different TV, right? So those things had to be corrected. Now with that, so here's what you need. You need somebody who can do color correction. You need somebody who can do sound editing, and it need to be people that know what they're doing. They have to be in the business. It can't be like, hey, well, my brother's done, Garage Band on his Mac once, right? And he's willing to take a whack at it. Well, any of us idiots can do that, all right? It's like we need someone who actually knows what they're doing. And it's just tough right now. Anybody, again, who, has the time and interest. That's the other thing, too, right? It's like, hey, do you want to work on this, Star Trek fan film for free that you'll get no money for doing it, but, you get a good on you, all right? And people are like, no, all right. I was like, I don't like Star Trek. I don't like science fiction, right? I've got my own things that I'm doing, and so it's a really small pool of people that you can draw on. And as you know, the fan fiction, fan film genre has kind of exploded now. All right, there's 5 or 6 other films out there, so that pool is being drawn upon, and that's kind of where we sit right now. So let me tell you, if there's any people who do color correction or sound editing and are professionals at it, and they're interested in helping out Phase 2, please go to our website and contact us. We'll be happy to at least hear what you can do for us. That's for sure.
And as a fan, it's like, I'd love to see it, but it's just like Katoomba was so worth the wait. It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, watching that, I was like, wow, I was so blown away with just the quality of the episode and just, everything. I was blown away. I mean, fans, I'm a fan myself. Be patient. Come on. They're going to, it's coming, and you know what, and I know as far as, I know James Cawley's got his standards for it, and,
exactly.
It's right. It's going to be right. So everybody,
that's the thing. Could we release it right now? Absolutely. It's done. It could be released right now, and you could watch it, all right? But then you're going to get a ton of people who are going to be disappointed with the sound. They're going to be kind of disappointed with the, switching, the colors looking a little different and stuff. And, there's a small blick in one of the special effects, right? It's kind of like, do you want to watch it like that? You can, all right? But it's not going to be the experience that you're expecting. All right, and certainly not the experience that you've gotten with the other, 9 or so films that we released. So,
absolutely,
patience is a virtue on this.
Right, and with most Trek fans, you're not pleasing everybody. Somebody's going to complain about something. You got the best sound, best quality, and they're going to find something. The acting's horrible. You know what? The way I see it, you guys capture the spirit of the whole thing, and that's what it's meant to be. It's for the fans, because obviously Paramount's not putting out something quality right now, in my opinion, and and what you guys do, it's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, let's wrap this up here. Charles, you want to give? Could you give the websites for everybody here for Phase 2 and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So here, if you're looking to find things on the web that pertaining to what I'm doing and Phase 2 and everything like that, you can go to www.StarTrekNewVoyages.com, or you can go to www.DragonPhoenixMedia.com, or you can go to www.CharlesRoot.com, all right? And heck, if you need any intellectual property help, you can go to www.IPCG.com, all right? Those are the websites in my life. It's kind of like when you're young, right? You got the girls in your life. When you get to my age, you got the websites in your life.
Yes, I understand that completely. Well, Charles, hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a great time to chat with you and get to know you a little bit and talk about Phase 2 and beer and everything else. It was great having you on. Thank you again so much for coming on.
Had a great time. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. And, please come on again. I mean, we'd love to have you on again. And if you want to pass on the word to anybody, if they want to come on, tell them to come on.
Right.
We'll talk to them.
I'll do that. Yeah. Very good. Thanks a lot, Earl.
No problem. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on some kind of radio show here on blogtalkradio.com. Next week, Saturday, 6 p.m., we're going to talk about, well, whatever. So everybody have a good night.
You have been listening to Some Kind of Radio Show with our host, Big E, Earl McCune. Tune in next week, same time, same place, for another fun-filled episode. Have a great night, and catch you on the flip side.